On this episode of SAMP&CHANCE Boxing, we're going to go back and take a look at Warrington. We're going to also look at Zurdo and Smith from this past weekend. Also, Amanda Serrano, 3-minute 12 rounds. Wow. We're going to look ahead at the IBF heavyweight title situation after Usyk and Fury. What does that mean? You got to listen to the show to find out. So everybody strap in, and thank you for letting us into your ears. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of SAMP&CHANCE Boxing. I'm your host, Bobby Sampson. Joined with me, as always, my man with the master plan, Mr. Chance Michaels. Chance, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Can't complain, man. We're close to the weekend, so, I mean, how much better can it get?
Yeah.
A bit of a nice little summer break here, it feels like, huh?
Beautiful. Oh, yeah, I love it. Enjoy it while we can. Don't got many left.
No doubt. All right, brother man, why don't we just jump right into it? Why don't we get right into Wood and Warrington? This fight excited me so much that I made a quick reel of it right after the fight. So let's get that going, and there we go. So your thoughts on the fight?
I was surprised. How good Warrington was doing. Like I said on the preview show, walks in tight and he throws the hooks, he throws the jabs. He's tough, he's compact, he's hard to hit. He was dominating. He was beating the crap out of Leigh Wood for 7 rounds. One thing I will say though, he was doing those rabbit shots, which people don't know. A little bit back of the head, and that Wood's trainer saying that made him a little disoriented. That gave him the upper hand. They could just be covering. Either way, that doesn't feel good to get that. If they hit him back, that'll knock anybody out. Warrington did a hell of a performance, and all of a sudden, the punch out of nowhere, boom, knocked him down. Now, one thing I will say, people are blaming the ref because he got knocked down and the bell rang. Warrington turned his back to the ref. He said he was okay, but he turned his back to the ref. If he would have turned around and said, I'm good to go, I'm fine, the ref will let the fight go. The ref made the right call. Warrington didn't want to continue, or he knows that, being a veteran, his corner knows that. He would have flipped around, said, let's go, ref. He would have had his minute rest in between the rounds and came back out. He was finished. He was seeing stars. That's why he kept his back to the ref. Your thoughts?
My thoughts. All right. 58-56, 59-55, and 59-55 going into the 7th round. Even, I guess, basically at that point, Leigh Wood would have needed a knockout to win, right? And there was not enough boxing left in that fight for him to kind of even come back from this. He was going to lose. Warrington, like I said, man, he very, very disciplined, just the way he was fighting. Yeah, the rabbit shots. It was actually, a point was deducted. Was it in the 7th round? It was right after the point was deducted that the knockout happened. Right?
Yeah, it was the early 7th, maybe the late 6th, but he got a point taken away.
Right. So he had
warned about that a few times prior too.
No, 100%. But I don't know if that really, like, maybe at some point it played a role, but I don't think
it did. I think it's the trainer covering.
Here's the deal, man. Leigh Wood, he's shown us this before where he just doesn't have the legs, or he just doesn't have the desire to be in there. And, he was like, I'm not saying he was a punching bag for Warrington, but he was being outboxed. He was being
getting worked.
Right. He was getting worked. Right. I mean, so from that perspective alone, we've seen this happen with Wood before. And, the one thing I will say, I don't know if I'm right, but this guy has power. He kind of reminds me of a flyweight Deontay Wilder. He just got that right hand. You never know what's going to come. Right. I mean, that's what happened with Conklin as well, wasn't it? Yes.
Yep.
Right. So, I mean, overall, you just look at it. It was crazy, man. I mean, the right guy, I guess, won. The one thing I will say, though, is like when he did get up, he was wobbly walking to the ref.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, from that perspective, and yes, turning your back to the referee and all of that cost him the opportunity to come back out.
Ref made the right call. The guy's not looking at you. He's turned his back. No. Warrington was done. But we need to see a rematch. We will see a rematch because that was a heck of a fight. Most fights don't deserve a rematch. This one absolutely does. I hope to see it again because it was beautiful to see. Good fight.
There you go, end of the round. I will say this, at the end of that fight, Eddie Hearns basically said that this is probably the last time we're seeing Leigh Wood at 126.
Yeah.
He's going to probably move up. But that being said, who knows? Warrington does have a case.
Fought his heart out.
We'll see. All right, so that was the afternoon appetizer, and the evening main course was Zurdo versus Smith. Ready?
Let's go.
Just do it. So, what did you think of that fight?
I thought it was a little bit coming from the Warrington Wood fight to watch that fight. I mean, it's night and day for action. I thought, I mean, it was, he got outboxed. Would he win 1 or 2 rounds, if that?
If that.
I mean, if that, right? I mean, it was just he got schooled, and it wasn't a very exciting fight. I mean, he looked good in the fight. It was a boring fight, to be honest with you, man. I watched it all, but I wasn't really too enthused with it. You got coming off this high off Warrington and Wood, and you're pumped for this fight. And it's just like, that's boxing for you. Some of the fights hit hard, some don't. It just wasn't that entertaining, man. What your take from it?
Well, okay, I agree with you completely in terms of what we watched, but here's what I took away from it. One, I didn't realize that it'd been 11 months since he fought Bivol. That's how fast the
Been
years
a while.
right? So from that time to this time, we saw a very different Zurdo, in my opinion.
Yep.
More skill, more
He looked good.
right? I mean, I think that put Smith off his game a little bit, in my opinion, because I think Smith was looking for a fight. He was ready for a brawler.
Yeah.
But Zurdo came out boxing, using technique and skill, the combinations that he was throwing, and he really worked the body hard, right? So that's my takeaway from it, right? I'm just looking at the fighter like, oh my God, he has improved a lot. Like, he's showing us some different elements now that we haven't seen in the past from Zurdo, right?
Yeah, he looked good.
So this, there's not much more that we can say about that fight. I mean, it was what it was.
One-sided.
Unfortunately, we didn't get the knockout from the guy that was getting tarred, right?
Yeah.
So, pretty much what we saw in the morning. But Zurdo, like I said, he looked good. He looked really good, but he's calling out Canelo, poor Canelo, eh? And he's calling out Bivol again. I mean, I don't know if he's ready for those guys yet.
He's not gonna get Canelo for a while, dude. If ever.
Yeah,
Everybody calls out Canelo. They want the payday. It's all about the money, right? Every guy. Most guys calling Canelo out don't deserve to fight him, haven't earned the spot, but you can't blame them for try to get under Canelo's skin, and Canelo will agree to fight him because it's the biggest payday in boxing when you fight Canelo and when you fight Fury.
Yeah, no. I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's when you have that name and that kind of clout. I mean, it's like the MMA world. Who's everybody call out?
The champs at the big fight. John Jones. I mean, Usman, whoever can fight.
Over all of them, there's one guy everybody wants to fight if you're in that weight class.
Brock Lesnar.
Conor.
Huh? Well, Conor, yeah, for that weight class, yeah. Like, people call him Brock Lesnar still like crazy because they know if Brock comes over to fight UFC, big money, right? Big money.
I mean, 300.
John Jones wants him, Miocic wants him, and Cormier wanted him. They all want
they do,
him.
but see, that's the thing. Like, even John Jones, Usman, Adesanya, those guys still won't draw what Conor draws.
No, Conor's iconic name,
right? So I mean, you got all these guys, and now just to kind of put into perspective, he's actually back in the USADA pool.
Yep, he's gonna fight.
All right, brother, man. I don't know when that round ended. We just kept going, but the bell's in there somewhere. All right, brother. Here we go. Round number 3. So Amanda Serrano and Danielle Ramos are actually going to contest a 3-minute 12-round championship fight. Now, the women boxers are all getting behind this, and they're kind of asking for this as well. I'm going to start this one, all right? I'll tell you what I think. I think, why not? And the reason I say it is because it's women against women. So it's still an even playing field, right? Like, even in tennis, I personally think they should go 5 sets. I don't understand. Like, if you're intergender or something, then that can be a little different, right? But, if you're the same sex and you have the same attributes and everything that, same, then why not let them do 3-minute 12 rounds?
Yeah, if that's what they want to do. I mean, this will be the new standard. This won't be just a one-time thing. All the championship fights are going to be 12 rounds in the women's division going forward. That's what they want to do, and they think they can do it. I don't think anybody's saying they should, and I haven't heard. I think that they're going to say if it's women against women, go for it. Should be fine, and it's only an extra 6 minutes. I mean, I'm fine with it. It's going to happen. That'll be the new standard going forward. Just like Dana White said, no women in UFC to fight. Got one in, and it's the new standard to go. Same thing here. All the championship fights going forward will be, if they get sanctioned, will be 12 rounds for all the women fights. It is fine.
Isn't it interesting, though, if you think about it, like, women's boxing has only been around for like maybe 40 years.
Well, yeah, because they didn't let women fight back in the day, right?
Right. But I'm just saying it's insane. Like they've really moved forward and stuff like that. But I'm a big proponent of it. I think why not let them fight 12-minute, 12 rounds, 3-minute rounds, right? I mean, they're the same. Everything's the same. It just makes no sense. Like why they wouldn't. Like
They will.
I think it's going to be more interesting now in the sense that these girls will actually be able to work on a bit more of a game plan. Because if you think about it, you got 2 minutes and only 10 rounds. And in those 2 minutes, you got to get it all in.
Yeah.
Right? It's like speed fighting.
Yeah.
So at least now they can actually work and actually get, better.
Potentially adding an extra 12 minutes to the fight, right? A minute each round. If it goes 12.
Look, at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, then fine. I accept that.
Well,
But
it'll work because they won't be able to take it back. They can't do it and then take it back because they won't be able to say, that'll be like saying, well, they couldn't do it. They weren't tough enough. They didn't have the stamina. So once it's a set, it's a new standard that's going forward. And I'm fine with it. Let them have it. They want to do it. And a couple extra rounds. If it's a good fight, why not, I guess?
the same standards are right across the board. Title eliminators, things like that, all 12 rounds.
I think so.
And then just kind of regular bouts, 10.
Yeah, and they do some our card fights be 6 rounds, 8 rounds. It's like we do in the men's boxing. Some of those fights are 6, 8, 10. So I'm fine with it. All the power to them, and yeah, let's do it.
All right, man. All
Pretty
right.
good.
That was easy enough. I was expecting a bit more of a fight from you, bro.
What can you do, right? That's what they want to do.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to round number 4. So we know that Usyk and Fury and Usyk are probably going to happen either December or early January. Now, what I'm reading is, and I don't know if you've read anything about this, that IBF will probably strip the winner of that fight, basically taking the title away. Do you agree with that? Do you think
I don't know
that's
if I don't think they should, but I don't really have a problem with this. This is the biggest fight in boxing. 2 heavyweights going at it. I don't think either one of them will even care if they get stripped of the IBF belt. One of them hasn't even talked about it that I've heard. So I think it's the IBF trying to get some hype and getting in there. And I don't know what the reasoning is because they're saying Joshua is going to fight for the IBF belt. Once that belt gets released, he's going to fight for it.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently he's not up there for that belt. It would probably be Hergovich.
Versus Joshua.
He's the number 1 guy, right?
Versus Joshua, they're saying.
For Joshua, yeah. So I don't know if that's going to happen because I mean they still want that Deontay fight, right? But apparently that's dead in the water now.
They say they want that. I don't see Joshua wanting that fight.
Like, I mean, you think about it, this Joshua Deontay thing has been kind of happening already before Fury was even in the picture. Fury only got the shots because Joshua didn't.
Yeah. And now Joshua is saying Fury's ducking him by fighting Usyk and Wilder. Are you kidding me, dude? He went 3 fights with Wilder. Fury's not ducking you. He's going to fight the best fighters, dude. You're not the best fighter right now, so he's fighting Usyk. So Fury ducking Joshua. For Joshua to say, I know what he's doing. He's trying to piss Fury off to get the fight, but trust me, Fury's not scared of Anthony Joshua.
No, but the connecting name here is Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Right? Straight up, you think about it. Before Fury was in the picture, while Fury was still, a cokehead and driving his Ferrari too fast and wanting to off himself, they were trying to negotiate with Joshua.
Mm-hmm.
And that fell through, and that's how Tyson got in.
Yep.
Right?
And then they want Joshua to have it back, I guess.
Right? And then from there, now we're back to Deontay and Joshua. And here we are at another stalemate. So who is... It has to be Joshua who's gumming it up, man. Him and Eddie Hearn, in my opinion.
Yeah, Eddie Hearn, he's just jealous that he's not involved in this fight. I mean, at the end of the day, dude, the 2 best heavyweights are fighting at it. One will be crowned. They want to strip him of an IBF belt. Nobody gives a crap. The general public won't care. There's way too many belts in boxing. There's way too much IBF, WBO, WBC, WBA, IBO, IBF. Like, holy cow, there's too much of that. You just need a couple belts. And just like, that's one thing about the UFC. It's 1 heavyweight belt. It's 1 middleweight belt. There are 4 or 5 different titles going on here. So well,
they do. To be fair, they do throw that interim title in there. For example, they might have another interim title fight match.
If somebody gets hurt or they have that BMF, well, it's not like boxing. You get to see a guy in the ring of boxing with 8 belts on him. Come on, it's a little silly.
Hey man, it's bling.
Yeah, it looks cool, but
fair enough. All right, man, that's the end of that one. Why do we get into round number 5? And let's talk a little bit about the Misfit card and the YouTube boxing stuff that's going to be going down this weekend. Let's get going. Here we go. You start, man.
KSI versus Tommy Fury. Logan Paul versus Dillian. Should be a good card. It's only what, $54.99 on DAZN. Sponsored by Prime. One of the best selling drinks in the world right now. I'm fine with this card. I mean, I don't think KSI will beat Tommy Fury, but he might. But it's entertainment, right? It's entertainment. People are excited. It's got a massive following on social media. People are talking about it. Logan Paul's going back and forth with his opponent. The guy's trashing, talking about his fiance and boiling all this hype. And they're going to get in there and fight, and let's see what happens. And if they can make money and people want to buy it and watch it, I'm all for it.
Fair enough. I don't watch this as I would normally watch boxing. I'll start with that. This is more of a spectacle to me. And I appreciate what they're doing and everything, but if you're going in there to look at technique and skill, this is not the place where you're going to find it.
We can say that about a lot of the cards we watch too, though. A lot of these guys is just garbage too, right?
Look. I'm just saying, it's just there's a difference between a guy really going after it. Like, I'm going to put Jake Paul on the boxing side.
Yeah,
I'd rather watch Jake Paul fight than most of these guys fight. I'm not.
Jake's a better boxer than Logan, but Logan's a better. Logan's actually niche is in wrestling. He's a natural, one of the best.
Yeah. No. I'm taking nothing away from anyone competing on this card.
Yeah.
I'm watching it. I'm just saying I'm watching it as a spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And yeah, those two fights that you announced, like I'm cheering for Tommy, to be fair, because he is the legit boxer, to be as they say. And the other one, I'm only interested not so much because of Logan Paul, the wrestler. The trash talk is what's intrigued me about this.
Oh, it's been a good hype, man.
The length that Dylan Dennis has gone to smear this poor girl's name. Right?
I hope Logan. I'm going for Logan all the way. I ain't gonna make any bones about it. I hope he knocks that guy in the second row. The guy is trash. I find it to be just it makes for a good fight. It makes for good us to talk about. I find him he's a crappy guy. And he's taking it too far. He's global. I know it's entertainment, but it's making it real personal. I hope Logan knocks his head off.
Well, we'll find out, right? I mean, ultimately, that's what it's all about. But I mean, it's going to be fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm spectacle, right? Like I don't know much of these people, in terms of who they are or what they bring to the ring. But apparently, that Salt Poppy fella, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he is.
Right. So I like to see what he's all about. But from what I've seen, it just looks like their arms get tired after 5 seconds.
Well, I believe the Logan fight's only 6 rounds.
Oh, really?
Only 6 rounds, and KSI and Tommy is 10. If I'm pretty positive. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Logan and Dylan just go right at it.
I'm really curious to see how this thing's going to play out, man. Honestly, I don't
blame Dylan. Like he's going to trash talk Logan. You make money fighting the Paul brothers. So hey, man, that's what he's doing. He's trying to make a buck, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope Logan beats the crap out of him.
Oh, we'll find out. We'll find out. All right, man. I tell you what, let's finish the show up with a look ahead, man. We got Tim Tszyu fighting Mendoza this weekend. Your thoughts on this matchup?
The first thing that comes to mind when I see a fight, the first thing I always do is I always check the odds. That'll give you an idea. Some of the smartest people in the world make these odds, and they're very sharp with their lines. It's football, baseball, name a sport. 7-1 favorite, Tim Tszyu. They're giving Mendoza no respect at all. So basically, you have to put $700 on Tim Tszyu to win $100. Nobody's going to do that. If you want to put, and then they have Mendoza at 5-1. So if you want to put $100 on Mendoza, you win 500 back. So they're basically saying Tim Tszyu is going to knock him out early on. I'm not saying that he will. It should be a good fight. Actually, Mendoza is a good fighter. I'm looking forward to it. Tim Tszyu is undefeated, man. Charlo's talking trash about him, so I hope Tim Tszyu gets to win, catapults himself up, and starts fighting one of the higher up names. But absolutely, according to Vegas, no respect for Mendoza. It's supposed to be a walk in the park. We'll tune in and find out. What are your thoughts?
Well, first off, I feel sorry for Tim Tszyu because he's done everything he's supposed to do and more to get the real title shot.
He's like Woody Crowley. He's in the same spot.
Right. And the belt that he's carrying, congratulations, brother. You are a world champion, but it's not the real title, right?
No, I know.
So going into this, Mendoza's 22-2 with 16 KOs. Against defeated Tim Tszyu, as you mentioned, 23-0 with 17 KOs.
Mendoza's trash talking. He's saying you're not as good as your dad.
No, he's got a chip on his shoulder, right? Because like you said, he is a good fighter, and when you're a good fighter and you're not getting respect, the one thing I will say is like, okay, I get it, you're Australia's son, but you got to come over here and fight.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, Kambosos.
Anyone in Norway, he's got to come over here too.
Look, Kambosos only started fighting in Australia when he built his name up here on this side of the pond. Not to say that you can't over there, but the reality is it's an unfortunate situation, right?
If you don't break it in America, you don't catch on.
But you can be a star in your own country. There's a lot of boxing, like when you watch those cards in Australia, and this is coming from the Gold Coast in Australia, right? So this is going to be a Saturday night, yeah, Sunday morning fight for them.
But to be a worldwide iconic star, you got to fight in Vegas, got to fight in New York, got to fight in LA.
Well, it just comes down to like, okay, Kambosos, say what you want to say about the guy, but we know his name because of what he did here. Even after he
Absolutely.
lost the titles, he came out and fought in Oklahoma, right?
Mhm.
He could have done all his fights in Australia now, and he's earned that, right? Tim Tszyu, I think
Here's a great example. My favorite fighter of all time, Manny Pacquiao. What did he do? He came over here in the late '90s, made his name out here. In no way, he's got to come over here and fight over here like Pacquiao and make your name here. That's when you become a global star.
no, that's 100%.
Very same thing. Came here and made himself. We talk about him all the time. Pick a star in
Yeah.
boxing.
Yeah.
Canelo fights in the
Yeah.
States all the time. You can still fight in your home country at times, but you got to make your bread and butter in America. This is the way it is, right or
If you want
wrong.
to be global, if you want to get global,
Yep.
you have to come here, right?
Fight in Vegas, man. Got to fight in Vegas.
But like I said, when you watch like this card on Saturday, there'll be Australian fighters that we'll never heard of, but they're big household
Oh
names,
yeah, absolutely.
right? So, all right, who do you got?
For this day in boxing history.
No, man, quickly, who do you predict for this fight?
Tim Tszyu, round 8 stoppage.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say round 5. He's just gonna hit him with something really hard. That guy hits like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, and I hope he wins. I want to see him fight the big guys, so I'm cheering for Tim Tszyu.
You know, based on what we saw against Canelo, I think he'd make easy work of Charlo if he was gonna fight that.
Oh, absolutely, I think so too. The way he looked. So,
All right, brother man. 6 rounds in the books. What do you got on this day or this week in boxing histories?
well, I got 2 things. First of all, I'll give my usual one, but then I got someone's. Every time we do this, we do something on Canadian boxing. I've been studying and reading a lot of it, so got some interesting things on Canadian boxing. But on this week in boxing history, Dr. Iron Fist Vitaly Klitschko, not to be mistaken with his older brother Vladimir, regained the WBC heavyweight title from Samuel Peter in 2008. Dr. Iron Fist, some people say the better brother of the Klitschkos. His only one loss was to Lennox Lewis in 2003, but there was a headbutt. Who knows what would happen? They actually would have finished the fight. So Dr. Iron Fist, 2008, this week in boxing, regained his heavyweight championship title over Samuel Peters. Okay, here we go. A new segment to the show on Canadian boxing. We're going to add this in. I didn't know this either. I don't think many people know this because this is going back a long, long time ago, but I have to share it. 1 second here. Just hang on my notes. Hold on a sec.
Great, man. The hard work and dedication of One Chance.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of research on Canadian boxing. It's actually quite impressive, some of the stuff that I found.
There's a lot of unsung.
Okay, here we go. The first bouts in Canada, we're talking 1900, people, were bare knuckle fights. Gloves became regular about 1905. We had to start wearing gloves. Some of the first fights in Canadian history weren't 12 rounds, weren't 20 rounds, 40 rounds. 40 rounds these guys were boxing in Nova Scotia, in Halifax. And I just thought I'd share that with everybody because Canadian boxing doesn't get enough shine. 40 rounds, 1900, 1905, 1910, they changed it. They finally made them wear gloves. Before that, they were just boxing bare knuckle, drunk guys in a ring, with ropes up and stuff. So, yeah, 40 rounds, many fights. 40 rounds of 3 minutes. It's insane.
Insane. Dude, I want to hear more about Canadian boxing.
So I got lots here. I don't want to drag it out too much, but just to get people idea.
Give us a taste.
40 rounds of 3 minutes. That's 120 minutes. It's a long fight, man. It's over 2 hours. 2-hour fight.
Was it the longest boxing fight, like 185 rounds or something like that? Not in
Something
Canada,
like
for sure.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just crazy some of the stuff we did.
You know what the worst part of that fight was? It was still considered a draw.
I know, it's crazy. I heard about that too, but yeah, I know. So I got lots of teachers. I've been reading up on it for the last few months and stuff, but I had to share that one. 40 rounds started in 1900. They officially started. Well, not every. Mostly said you have to wear gloves. Before that was all bare knuckle. Some of these fights are 40 rounds. It's just nuts. And one more thing I got to share.
Uh-huh.
But one of my favorite boxers, this boxing card that I received from one of my friends, a Toro Gotti card.
Raise it up a little bit more. There you go. Perfect. Arturo Gotti, man. Very cool.
Yeah. Sweet card. I got a few of them, but I thought I'd try that one today.
Nice.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Okay, before we go though, fight announcement. It was announced yesterday. It's made official.
Oh yeah.
David Benavides Andrade, Demetrius Andre, November 25th, the Mandalay Bay.
Mandalay Bay, man, and I love the Mandalay Bay. That's one of my favorite hotels. It smells so fresh from there. That pool is a 100-acre pool. I'm looking forward to getting to that pool. So hopefully it's pool season still around then. It's coming to an end, but if it's nice and hitting the 100-acre pool, it's got real sand. Man, I love that place. So one more thing, Jose Benavides Jr. is fighting the other Charlo brothers. So it's a stack card.
It's a stack card, man. And I believe, I'm not sure, but Ray Vargas might be on this card as well.
I heard that. Yeah, I don't think they've announced it officially, but
announced it. But I think it's going to be a pretty good card.
I'm glad. I'll be honest, man. I'm glad. I would love to go to Texas too, but I'm glad it's in Vegas because there's something about Vegas. When you get off that plane, you're going to the fight. You just feel that atmosphere, the fight feel, and so I'm glad it's in Vegas.
Yeah,
Texas is cool too, but I'm happy with this.
No doubt, no doubt. I believe one of us, if not both of us, will be there for that fight.
Yeah, we'll be there.
You haven't made your annual trip this year. This will be my number 2.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
You know what I looked up though very quickly? I thought because U2's doing their residency there at the Sphere, it's going to be over by then.
Yeah.
Well, they're not playing that night. They're going into December, but those are the nights they're not going to be there.
Oh, okay. So you won't be able to catch that.
Whatever. We could catch a bunch of other stuff. But anyways, fights are happening. Everything's stacked. It's going to be a pretty fun card. Being in Vegas too now, I think it's going to open the door for a lot more people who are going to show up for this fight.
Absolutely. All the stars will be there.
Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting. A lot on the line on this fight. Both of them. Yeah, the co-main.
It'll be a lot of fun, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Here we go. All right. Let's wrap it up here, everybody. Yep. We are headed into the weekend. No, it's not long. It's just a regular weekend. So get your licks in, have your fun, do what you got to do. But as we always say, make the right choices, get home safely to your family and your loved ones, because we just want you to come back and listen to Tuesday's show. Really, that's our main objective here. So on that note, be safe, have fun, everybody. I'm Bobby Sampson. He's Chance Michaels.
In the words of the great AC/DC, those that download and like and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you. And in the words of Eddie Whalen, in the meantime and in between time, well, that's it for SAMP&CHANCE. Everyone have a great weekend. We will talk to you Tuesday. Technology provided. SAMP&CHANCE.